And good evening. Thank you for your patience to wait this long. I know it's tiring in the afternoon after lunch, so hopefully nobody is very sleepy. Otherwise, help yourself to some very delicious snacks that we have here. So, I'm talking a little bit about how do you actually transform the strategies into goals. And I'll start with that. We talk about OKRs, and these are objectives and key results. And it's interesting because many times we're talking about alignment, and there is alignment missing between what the owners want, or what the management committee wants. What is their objective? What is their vision? Versus what is the objective of line and staff? And that communication breakdown many times results in confusion, results in mismatched expectations, results in just generally chaos and not meeting your goals. And when we talk about OKRs, it's objectives and key results. Many times, the manager especially, and I can talk about one of my previous companies, the objective was, and this is all hospitality, so objective was we want highest customer satisfaction or highest guest satisfaction, which is a very good objective, right? In hospitality, it is the business of people. But instead of focusing on what the key results should be, the management just got very, very focused on the how. Okay, how will I achieve the objective? If my objective is highest customer satisfaction, do I give every guest who comes one red rose when they enter? Do I give my guests free discount, 10% discount if you're staying in my hotel, if you book through my website? Or am I giving my guests chocolate on the bed when they do evening service? That's a good night, little gesture. Do I give my guests, so they're just coming up with all these, how do I get to increase customer satisfaction? At the end of the year, full 1 year goes, nobody is checking anything, nobody is measuring anything. Customer satisfaction, nothing, not increased, gave enough free chocolate, gave enough red roses, made no difference. Because the focus was all on how do we increase. And the staff was not given very clear key results of what we expect the staff to do. What at the end of the day is measurable. I cannot measure, today you gave 10 roses, tomorrow you gave 20 roses, day after you gave 100 roses, more roses you gave more satisfaction. That is not the way to measure. Yeah. Whereas with my current company, we also have OKRs. Again, the objective, very much hospitality, is the same, highest customer satisfaction. But they are now focusing on the what for the key result. What is the key result that will help you achieve the objective? So now, the key result is we want your Google review rating to increase from 4 to 5. So in Google, every guest, anybody who goes to a restaurant, anybody who stays in a hotel, has the opportunity to give their feedback. I like the hotel, 5 stars. I didn't like the hotel, 2 stars. Or I like the food, 4 stars, did not like 0 stars, whatever. But very clear goals, very clear numbers. And it is very measurable. So this is one of the key results given to the team. That, okay, you need to make sure your Google reviews increases from 4 to 5. Then the second key result that we gave, we need to make sure that in social media, you are showing, like instead of 100,000 fans, you now have 500,000 fans. So everything is now measurable. And if your key results are not measurable, it is impossible for your team to achieve the objective. So it is very important, firstly, to clearly define what the objective is, make sure management, make sure the team that is going to execute, everybody is in alignment, everybody agrees with the objective, and then everybody understands what is the key result, not how. The how will be every day. They will figure out. Because one guest will want very smiling faces to be welcoming them. Oh, Miss Howe, welcome to my hotel. It is wonderful to have you back. That makes her feel very happy. One guest wants delicious pho for breakfast. But he's like, I want the $100 pho, the $1 million pho from the best chef ever. That is going to make him very happy. So you do the delivery of the service to the best of your ability because you know your goal is to increase from 4 to 5 for the guest satisfaction. So that is very, very important of how you make your strategies, which can sound very, very high level, into actual measurable goals. And then when we talk about golden customer journey, now what is it that we're talking about there? And everybody says customers at the center of the overall, and we talk about customer's lifetime value. But what we tend to forget many a times is the customer journey even begins before the customer steps into your store, or steps into your shop, or steps into a hotel. And many times, like at least in my business, you think the opportunity to interact with the customer is when the customer is face to face with you. But there is so much opportunity to also interact with the customer before they interact with your brand, before they get to even experience your product, before they even get to talk to you. That is what we call the pre-purchase. So how are you doing your customer engagement in pre-purchase space versus when they actually interact with your product or your service? And then what is the after sales service or the after the stay experience? It's kind of the whole journey where you need to make sure that you are leveraging as the service provider or as the business owner. How are you touching on all of those touch points of the customer journey? Because each opportunity is being given to you. For example, in my business, when the guest calls up the hotel to make a reservation, there is opportunity to wow the guest then, because the guest is saying, well, I'm planning my honeymoon in Phuket. And you're like, okay, that's fantastic. What do you lack? Instead of saying, oh, I have the best hotel. Oh, I have a great restaurant. Oh, I have the best swimming pool. Asking the guest, what do you like? Because maybe the guest doesn't like any of this. Maybe the guest likes to go to do a safari. So you're like, okay, we actually have this beautiful, small safari sanctuary. You can actually do a very nice romantic tented dinner, candlelight dinner over there. That will increase that aha. So that is part of how you're touching on different opportunities to interact with the guest or the customer during the customer journey. And when we talk about utilizing OKRs, what is really important is to ensure all of these, when they get broken down into what the objective is. So one objective, of course, I said was increase customer satisfaction. Then you start breaking it down into different objectives, because obviously you will always have more than one objective. And each objective will have at least 3 key results. You don't want to put too many key results, because that will always complicate things, make it very confusing. The 3 key results is more than enough, it's what is achievable. Right? And then that is kind of what will help you get your roof shot. The moon shot that comes up is many times not even 100% measurable, because you will never be able to get that 100% to achieve the moon shot. Even if you get to about 70% of the moon shot, that's more than enough. Because it is such a big, big ideal vision that the OKRs help you first and foremost achieve and be able to reach your roof shot. And it all ties back together. And that's what kind of helps to transform what is on paper into reality. So when we are just talking concepts, we are just talking HR concepts. We can keep talking blah, blah, blah. I can give a lecture for 2 hours. But what is it that helps transform what is on paper into actual actionable and doable steps? So that is something which we need to always make sure that when you are, as a business leader or as a manager, when you have set the objectives and the key results for your team, that you are also regularly going back and checking in. So there are quarterly checks that are happening. Many times, especially I remember back in the day when I used to work with KPIs, then you used to just set the KPIs in the beginning of the year. 1 year later, okay, HR is crying, submit the KPI, need to give the bonus, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you are then doing, at the end of the year, just filling up one stupid form and you say, yeah, achieve KPI, did not achieve KPI. But with OKRs, the correct way is to make sure every quarter, and now the good part is we have software for everything. You don't need to do like pen and paper, everything is tracked on the system. You have software, you have online platforms to be able to constantly monitor, gauge, and assess. So this tells you every quarter, all right, these were your key results, how much have you achieved out of your key results. It also gives you the opportunity to reassess if your objective is correct, if what you have put down as the key results is correct and accurate at that point in time. And if it is not, you need to realign and change those key results, or maybe change even the objective. You have the opportunity to do that every quarter to make sure that you are ahead of the curve and that you are looking forward to see, okay, how my business needs are changing, how the environment is changing. Like in my business, for example, I can say, okay, my objective originally was we should be at 100% occupancy. But then I see, okay, there was a war happening in Ukraine and Russia. And then I say, oh my God, okay, there is, potentially economic downturn happening in Europe and the US. Clearly, I'm not going to get enough customers to be at 100% occupancy. I cannot wait for the end of the year when everything's already tanked to say, oops, my objectives were wrong, my key results were not accurate. And then I can't do anything because nobody managed to meet or achieve that. So every quarter, when you check in, you have the opportunity to change those key results and objectives. So that again is part of what leads to the transformation process.
It's easier for people to come from 1 to 2 options and get one best at the moment. But what your story is saying that from 4 to 5, literally, you have so many options to get to where you are. 4 to 5 in the Google rating for one hotel is a lot of things involved.
Of course.
And absolutely. 5 meaning that 100%. Totally. So before I translate for people, would that take a little bit of what you can say? How much is the alignment of a team to be to agree, at least for those who engage in customer, right? From 4 to 5. As if people have an agreement and how to make people agree on the customer journey and how many touch points. Do they have to agree on how many touch points? Or whoever had to work and whoever to say, oh, I see that people before stepping in the hotel that one touch, one touch point. But the other say, no, I think when they got into the room and sleep and have a good sleep, then is the one touch point. And what is more important? Is that the big alignment in there or not?
No, for that, you cannot actually align. Where you need the alignment is more from the perspective that everybody knows, because each person or each staff member has been enabled. So each staff person has been given the power to wow the guest. So which is why they don't have to question. They can think on their own, and there is a lot of flexibility, a lot of freedom, and a lot of power given to every team member that if you feel when you are interacting, because each guest is different.
Yes.
Like, so which is why you cannot predict. You cannot say this will work for all my guests or that will work for all my guests. Or if everybody gets free breakfast, everybody will be happy. Not necessary.
Okay.
Which is why, as the staff, as the team overall within the hotel, the moment you enable them and you give them the opportunity, okay, you have to increase that scope from 4 to 5 days. For example, Ritz-Carlton does this beautifully. I was staying the other day at the Ritz-Carlton, I was doing a weekend staycation, and there was a small piece of glass in the salad that I was helping myself do, and I noticed it. And I'm from hotels, so I will not create drama because my business. I'm not gonna like ruin it for them. But I called the manager and I said, just tell your chef to change this because there is a glass in it. I was going to eat it, but I just noticed. Immediately, in 2 seconds, the chef came, he removed it. He came, put in a different salad. Nobody said anything to me. I was sitting, I was doing my thing. After about 10 minutes, this manager comes and he just gives me a small bag. He's like, I just want to say, ma'am, thank you very much. We really appreciate you share your feedback with us. But I know what he's telling me. He's telling me, thank you for not screaming and shouting and not suing us. That is exactly what he was saying. And he's given me this beautiful bottle of champagne. And I was like, the cost of that champagne is probably more than what I'm paying for my room. And I'm like, so I was like, this is fantastic. And he has the power. He has been enabled. So of course, I'm giving them a 5-star, 5 diamond, 5 like planets. You know, so obviously, like I'm giving them a very good review. But this is, I didn't know I would get lost in the salad. He didn't know I would not create drama and scream and shout and you people are going to kill me. Nothing of the sort. But because I was okay, he was obviously safe. His job was safe. His chef's job was safe. And no other guest was, you know, aware of this whole thing that happened. So we mitigated the issue. I got surprised and delighted that I get this beautiful bottle of champagne, and they get to meet their key result. So they get a very good review from me.
That's a good point.
And that is, so this is also about enabling your team. What I realized for many traditional organizations and companies, we want to tell the staff everything. Tell you, do this, do that, do this, do that. We don't let them use their own intellect and their own brain. And that I think is very limiting. And especially with the younger generation of people on our team. The millennials are not interested in listening to do this, do that. They once slap to us and say, please, you old people, shut up. And that is true. Because in their head, they're thinking very differently.
Yeah.
And our customer is changing so much as well. So let them also think some things will work, some things will not work. But then that is why we are there as leaders. If it's not working, we can protect them then, stop them, correct them.
So basically, it's a learning process.
Absolutely.
Everybody gotta learn.
Absolutely. That's part of that transformation. Yeah.
Environment. What makes is the alignment really work is how to that create environment. Each one manager would give that champagne to one customer like you, just to make sure
Then
wow.
they will go bankrupt.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to get good experience. You go back to that and share with our staff.
No, if we're going to give a bottle of champagne to every guest, that is not a good business practice. But this was a very genuine situation, right? Because if I sue the company, if I sue
Which
the
means they
hotel,
know you a little bit, or they assume anyone like you.
no, I mean, I can sue.
Okay.
As a guest, if I notice there is glass in my food, I mean, it's a health hazard, it's a safety hazard. Yeah. This was Singapore, so I can easily sue, right? But even if it was Vietnam, for example, if I cannot sue, I can put up such bad reviews. I can put on Zalo, I can put on Facebook, I can put on Instagram, I can put on every social media channel that I came here, I ate here, and the food had a piece of glass. And the easiest thing, the moment there is some bad, rumor, that one will spread faster than anything else. And most service industry businesses, hotels, restaurants, they are more worried about their reputation than anything else.
So that is already the case in Singapore. Only one review can affect.
Even in Vietnam, for that matter. Reputation is so important. And I'm talking about, over here, that's why I said, if I put one bad review, and I start getting people to circulate, for example, there is one restaurant, they do a lot of good business, they're on Grab also. They've had quality issues because the food quality has been very bad, and people have started talking. So there was feedback on Grab, there was feedback on Google, there's feedback on Zalo. They had to shut down their business.
Yep.
So reputation is very, very, business reputation and reputation management is very important. doesn't matter geography, whether I'm saying Vietnam, whether I'm saying any other city, any other country. And which is why when you say that your roof shot is, okay, I want to increase from 4 to 5, your moonshot is not just the number, but then the moonshot is people are also giving you more word of mouth marketing, where people are actually saying, you want to go and eat food? Let's go to this hotel. Let's go to the Reverie Saigon. No, let's not go to Landmark 81. Food is not so good, let's go to Reverie Saigon. Then, if everybody starts to say that, that is your moonshot. So your moonshot would be, when you're putting down your objectives, would be increase word of mouth marketing, which is difficult. That is the toughest marketing to do, because you cannot pay, you cannot buy, you cannot influence. You have to prove, and you have to win over the customer. When you own the customer will do word of mouth marketing for you. So that is the moonshot. If you can get that, your business is going to do extremely well forever and ever. And that's very difficult to achieve. Your roof shot would be to go from 4 to 5. And
Make
for that,
sure every day you make the customer
consistency.
happy.
Consistency. Absolutely.
Let's say in order to from 4 to 5, let's make them 42 first. And then we'll make it 4.5.
Yeah.
4.2 first, and then 4.5, and then 4.7.
Of course. Can do that as well. Yeah.
Step by step, but see result. Yeah. Okay, this is, I think it's great. I would get back to people, but I just want to share with you as part of a story where most of the time, company and hotel in Vietnam cannot do that yet. Mainly people struggle, try to do the roof shot. Already roof shot is already hard. Then the golden customer journey would come from the fact that how much data people want to see from the whole market, how they see that hotel, to Google or TripAdvisor or word of mouth, how much, how many percent from, this is a funnel, from where people are aware of it, people consider to come, listen to somebody, look in a review, and then book. Those are the different touch points.
Of course, absolutely.
That if the whole team agree on that until they get delivered with the and that is the journey at some point. It's still important to drive the whole team, especially those who in back end. Because front end working directly with customer, they might know. But people from back end doesn't know at all. They would not be able to hire the right person for you. They would not give the money, approve it for you to find the right person. So at least in this industry, those are the golden within to sometimes have to work on that touch point, like 1, 2, maybe 6. Already, consider, make a decision, and then deliver, and then you can upsell, and then you end that process. Before we can go to wow process, because if we had time, I would love to talk about motivation, how we do it. Because we HR
everything in one evening.
yeah, we can talk about that all, but let's put it great today. We agree that customer first will really take time for people to understand, for the whole team, especially front end and back end. Think about it, and we come back to when we can actually do exercise and actually work on it with different sectors we want. And because we're not all in hotel, Neha has just given an example of a hotel. But anyone have that moonshot and wow moment already? Share with us. Be our speaker next time. Is okay? Như vậy là chúng ta sẽ thống nhất với nhau rằng câu chuyện mà hành trình trải nghiệm khách hàng chính là cái điểm tựa để team có thể align với nhau. Chứ còn bình thường nếu chúng ta mà tự align với nhau ấy, thì kinh nghiệm mọi thứ quá khác biệt. Chúng ta sẽ nhiều cuộc họp hơn là ra được OKR. Cho nên chúng ta hãy dựa vào khách hàng. Thì cái phần hành trình trải nghiệm khách chính là cái data, chính là cái để cho mọi người back end và front end đều một với nhau được. Và đấy cũng là một cái phần lớn của OKR. Tôi nghĩ là chúng ta không có thời gian để nói đến motivation, là phần cực kỳ khó của HR. nhưng tôi nghĩ có thể đây sẽ là cơ hội chúng ta gặp nhau ở no for, đúng không ạ? Làm sao mà nói đi nói lại moon hay nóc nhà hay là cung trăng thì cũng phải quan trọng là motivation là cái gì, đúng không ạ? Ông này nghĩ là tiền thì là cần, nhưng ông kia lại bảo là tình cảm cơ, còn ông lại bảo là tiếng thôi, tiền đúng mọi người. Vậy thì đúng chưa ạ? Phải có đúng không ạ? Nhưng bao nhiêu? How much is how much? Đấy. Đấy. Thế cho nên là chúng ta sẽ cảm ơn câu chuyện của Neha ở đây. Nếu như ai có ý tưởng gì thêm cho Neha để chúng ta hỏi thêm thì mọi người hãy viết xuống và gửi lại cho team.